Okay, now you want to sew the front pocket. So here is the pocket. This is actually what it looked like before. Yeah. So we come here. This is the wrong side. This is the right side. So we come here, and then on this side, we open it here, lie it on this edge here. We make sure that this side is actually in accordance with the pocket itself. So make sure you leave some at least half inch above here. So you run a stitch here. Okay, so I've run my stitches down here. So you cut this away, and then you come here. You can see that this will actually notch. So you notch the pocket with it as well. Be careful not to over notch, right? So now you remove this and cut away this pocketing. Just cut it away to that point where you notched. So you come here like this, and then actually this was ironed. So you run a stitch however you want it. Maybe it's a wide one, maybe it's a tiny one, however you want it. After you run the stitches on the pocket, and then so you open it, and then you fold this in. Some people actually want to weave, actually want to fold either way, just to make sure this place is neat. You fold it, and then you run a stitch. Of course, it can't be straight. It has to be in accordance with the line or the shape. So you run a stitch across here to this point. So once you've turned it over, you stitch this side a bit to make the to hold the pocket stable, and then you come here, of course, because this thing are two, so one will be removing. So you also run a stitch across it. So now, in order to cut the excess away, you need to make sure this is actually aligned with each other. So you use a ruler, and then you cut the shock, you rule it, you cut them off, and then this side has to be 2 inches. Okay, so it might be more than 2 inch a bit, so you just have to trim it off, and then you have to make sure it's aligned with this pocket here, right? So you can see, so and then you cut these, and then you cut them off. So after you've cut away the excess, you come here, you come down by an half inch, and then you notch also half inch. You can see. So you now come here, put your hands in it, and then you turn it back outside. So from this notched part, from this place you notched, you run a stitch around across, of course, like this. You run it like this. So after you've run a stitch down, you trim the excess away because you have to sew it in by an half inch. So now you turn it back outside. Turn it back outside. So this is how it's going to look now. Then you top stitch them. You top stitch it, and then you end at this point. So you can see I use black thread at the back of this. So when you are using a different color of trouser and a different color of pocketing, please make sure to keep in mind that you have to use different thread for that matches with the outfit, so it won't look all rough. Okay, now you want to cut the lining for the trouser. So we'll be using it doesn't have a length measurement, but it has to be at least, let's say, 1 inch. This was actually where we marked when we were cutting the trouser for the knee part. So you can see it's just some inches before the knee, or you can just make it 1 inch before the knee. So it has to be, yeah, you have to cut it exactly like this. I've cut this place. So now you have to at least leave some inches so that when you're folding you can cut the excess away. So at this point you can't cut it exactly, so you have to at least add 1 inch extra depending on how available. This is actually 1 1/4, so you can make it 1 1/4, 1 1/2. I think I'll prefer 1 1/2. Yeah, 1 1/2 is okay. So you add 1 1/2 inch extra to the measurements, and then you cut it exactly. Now you place it on the back of the front bodies. Place it here. So you added 1 1/2 extra, so it will be more than the normal measurement. So you have to put a pleat to the middle, right? So it will look like this. Everything actually have a pleat. So you sew the edges. Just sew the edges. You can't sew this place. You just sew the edges. You can weave this down part, of course, but this one I didn't need to weave it because it's actually a service edge. So you sew the edges like that.